Hey y'all, this is Richard. Today is September 12th, 2020. I'm coming to you from the old wagon road. It's about 200 years old. Um, Today I wanted to talk about the Rittenhouse incident in Kenosha and something that not many people on YouTube are talking about. And that is the failures of leadership, strategy, and organization that occurred that made all of these things possible. Obviously, the government had a hand in it by allowing a war zone to exist. When you allow a war zone to exist, bad things happen. So, with that out of the way, also, this particular video, I'm not talking about what Kyle did right versus wrong, anything like that. We're talking about the environment that led up to it. And one of those things was a failure of leadership. We've already talked about the failure of government leadership, but also failure of leadership on the ground with that group that Kyle was with. I didn't see anyone in charge there. There's no chain of command, no one to take responsibility if something bad were to happen. So, second of all, with organization, I didn't see any organization on their part. Were they operating as a private volunteer security force, or were they being paid? If they were being paid, was that within what's permitted at that state or not? I don't know. Or were they operating as a community defense force, which that's not the same thing, which is also not the same thing as a militia. Either way, whichever of those three things it was supposed to be, and they definitely blurred the lines on all of that, you have a scope of operation and you have a chain of command. So I didn't see any of that going on there. And then finally, I didn't see any strategy on their part on how they were deploying themselves. It looks like just a gaggle responding to a gaggle. And that's also a recipe for bad things to happen. When you cluster up, and so nothing good was going to come from that either. And the biggest failure of that day, I've circled back to leadership. Who was it that allowed Kyle to get separated from the group and get left behind when the rest of the group withdrew? I'm hearing it said that he was talking to a reporter at the time, and the guys that were with him scooted out, and Kyle was still talking to the reporter. Something like they assumed that he was coming behind them, and what I'm hearing is that when he tried to leave, the police wouldn't allow him to cross the line. So if that is the case, who in leadership allowed that to happen? And on top of that, his buddy who was with them, you don't leave your wingman. So, there's so many things that went wrong there that allowed for what happened with Kyle to happen. And I think that is a teachable moment for everyone else, and you need to be aware of these things. Thanks.